Alrighty, folks, welcome to another episode of the Above the Bar podcast. This is your host, Sean. Today we have a very first. Rick seems to always be around for a lot of firsts. We're not going to get into what those firsts are, but Rick is the first repeat guest. This is our first three of us on here. We have Miss Monica with us, so it's a lot of firsts today. So this is all multiple firsts. We're all just going to have a lot of firsts today.
Yay!
And as we know, this is the Above the Bar, so there's liquor involved with all of our firsts.
I'm sticking with the nicotine.
He's going with nicotine. I don't want to see Rick with any alcohol. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother.
we could do an entire set on that. But
it's a Hallmark movie.
Oh God. Can I have Ricky Schroeder play me? Didn't he do those for like the longest time before anything? Wasn't he always doing like the Hallmarks? Was that Ricky Schroeder? I don't even know the guy's name. I don't even know the guy's name. He will always be Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoons. Like,
I think, yeah, he goes by Rick now. He's just Rick.
But today, folks, we're doing Uber Diaries. I thought that this would be a perfect episode. So, if you don't know, Rick is an Uber driver, but Miss Monica that we have with us, Miss Monica is a travel expert. Can we go with travel expert? Does that sound good?
That sounds perfect.
She is a travel expert. She has booked trips from all the far-flung areas that we all want to go to that we think for whatever reason we can't get to them, and she can help you figure out how to get to them. We may have I'll see if she'll answer some extra questions besides this, because I'm curious of some of the people that may have asked her from some more exotic adult trips. See if that ever happened. But we're gonna get into we've all, and I'll say it like this: if you don't know what taxi cab confessions were, you probably don't belong listening to me at this moment because you're too young. And I'm not saying that because I'm an old guy. It's just because I don't want to explain it. Like, I don't want to explain what taxi cab confessions were. But now we're kind of moving forward. It's a whole nother time frame here. And I wanted to talk about Uber Diaries. And Rick drives Uber. So I figured he had to have good stories because we didn't get Uber up here till, 2017? Like late 2017? Because I remember when April and I got married, it was like I had family members at the house for the reception. They were like, well, we can't really drink. I'm like, why? They're like, you guys don't have Uber. I'm like, get a cab. They were like, yeah, like it was this whole thing. And I grew up, like, where'd you grow up at, Monica?
Everywhere. Indiana, Alabama, mostly. Yeah.
Are you a military brat?
No, child of a divorce.
So you bounced around.
Yeah.
So, and now, where you guys, and I don't know about up here, but did you guys have gypsy cabs?
In New York City, when I lived there were gypsy cabs.
So you know what the gypsy cab? Do you know what a gypsy cab is, Rick? You're looking at me like I have 15 heads.
I was crossing my eyes for a second.
So those are the people that go to the airport and they come in and ask you if you want to ride.
Oh, okay.
You didn't call them. They're illegal cabs, basically.
Right. Had no jewel or anything like that. So,
yeah.
So, and I thought it was so funny when this whole Uber thing started coming around. I'm like, my parents used to tell me, don't you ever get into a gypsy cab. Like, this was like the most horrible thing because they were the sketchiest people. It was like Danny DeVito from Taxi, like coming up to you, like scratching himself, like, dude, you need a ride. Like, I got my car and my 2 kids.
I would have said yes.
well, that was totally different. See, again, Rick would have been like, sure. Can we share a smoke?
Add me on Facebook.
And folks, if you're listening to this, if you have any stories from like Uber or Lyft or even a regular taxi cab, send me messages. I'll read them on air here. But I wanted to hear like what kind of experiences you guys have had. And Monica's got an international story for us for a crazy taxi cab situation. But to kind of set it up, I went online and looked up like what are some things that people have said, like crazy situations. And some of these first two just made me laugh. So the first one was this woman. Her name is Elizabeth. She tweeted, "One time I got into a very full Uber pool." And if you don't know what the Uber pool is, that's like multiple people in the same Uber. Got into a very full Uber pool, and halfway through the otherwise silent ride, the driver turned around and whispered to all of us, "You're all named Elizabeth." Like I'm done. I'm done at that point. You need to go ahead and pull this shit over right now. I'm out. And, and, and the other one was that I liked was obsessed with the level of confidence of the woman in my Uber pool who's on a phone call asking someone to explain why she's not invited to their wedding.
Wow.
Like yeah, that wasn't a private conversation you were trying to have, huh? I mean, so like it's out there. There's the craziness. And folks, if you haven't seen, and I'll go back to Taxi Cab Confessions, and then I'm gonna turn this over to Rick because I know Rick's got some stories. Because if for those of you who might listen to the podcast side of this, you need to see the visual. Because I love Rick, but if you have not visually seen Rick, he has a very red mohawk right now, and looks like he could be like a middle-aged Johnny Rotten. and again, if you don't know who Johnny Rotten is, you probably again shouldn't be listening to my podcast.
He looks like the kid from Cobra Kai. The younger people will know that.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, you
That was
do.
great.
You do look like if that kid got older and had a bad divorce. Oh my God. So let's go ahead. Monica, do you want to save yours for the piece de resistance, or do we want to get Rick in this first? You guys tell me. You there, Monica?
Your call, Monica.
Yeah, you want me to go? Okay.
Let's hear this. Let's hear this overseas.
Okay.
Story.
So I'm the vice president of Yampu Tours, and what I do is I go around the world, checking out everything, learning everything about my destination. So my first trip to Brazil, I had done so much research, and everyone writes how dangerous Brazil is and how you should, not wear nice jewelry, and that there's a lot of robberies, and there was all this writing of stuff about how dangerous Brazil is. And I've traveled at that time to most of the other South American countries. So anyway, we go to Brazil, and I have my mother-in-law had given me a little diamond ring that I wore with my wedding ring. And I was eating all the amazing Brazilian food, and these stews, and I guess it had a lot of salt in it, and my hands just they were swollen. So I was in a taxi, and I was playing with that ring, and it's just a simple ring, no big stones, just a simple ring. And I was playing with it, and I was kind of going up and down with my finger, and I flicked it.
Okay.
And it goes on the floor. So I'm looking for it. My husband's frustrated and mad. He thinks it's the one that I just bought. We had gone to a place where they sell stones, but it wasn't that one. But he's mad, and I'm looking, and his mad is just being quiet, but still. And so we're looking. It's dark, and then we pull into a gas station, and we look more. It's dark. We go to the hotel. Now the security of the hotel is looking. Everyone is looking for this ring. I go to bed. I'm depressed and sad. My husband's mad. We go to sleep, and the next morning at 7 a.m, my phone rings, and it's the taxi driver, and he says to me, "I've got my mechanic, and we're coming back to the hotel. We're going to take the seats out."
Holy shit.
So they came back, they took the seats out. Wow. And there's like a little slit in the carpet where the seat goes. I didn't even know that existed. And the ring had lodged itself down in that little slit. And so here I am, and I'm thinking, and I've told this story to lots of clients and to all my salespeople because there are really great people everywhere you go in the world. And if you're a good person, you're going to be lucky enough to find those good people. And that's what I did. And so I don't think Brazil is all that bad. I love Brazil. I think it's got so many great people and so many great places to go. And so that's my taxi story from Brazil.
Well, there's many things about I like about Brazil, but again, you must be over 18 to listen to this show. And we can't get Rick. We can't get Rick to like take the old fries out of his car. You had a mechanic take his whole car apart. Rick has got 3-week-old fries with a pack of Lucky Stripes put out inside of them. That's a testament of how nice of a person you are. like Rick's. You hear this, right? I'm looking at you on the camera going, with my hands out begging you. You hear this, right? You see the hands, they're begging you. Please. This is the hands for Rick.
The hot hands?
The hot hands. This is for you. Please. So how long you been driving this stuff, Rick?
I've been with Uber now for just about over 3 years.
So let's start with, do you ever get those calls where you're like, nope, I'm not even picking this person up? I'm not.
I get like that late at night when they either A, ask me where I am, or B, text me constantly. I know where I'm going. I can see I have the GPS works fine. I know where to pick you up. And they're like, I'm here. And they're like, where are you? And I'm just like, cancel.
Oh, I hate that. That happened to me a few times.
Oh, I've had people like call like on a 12-minute pickup. Like, say I'm in Glens Falls, I'm going to get him in Lake George. It's 12 minutes tops. They called me 3 times on the way there, and I'm like, I can't do this. I really can't.
Monica just said, so wait a sec. Are you that person, Monica? Are you texting like over and over and over? Like, where are you? I just sent this. Why aren't you here yet?
No, but I've had situations where I've called Uber and you wait. It says it's going to take 5 minutes. So you're like, okay, I can wait 5 minutes. Then 7 minutes in, they cancel.
Yeah, that's wrong. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it.
So now we know. Look, this is actually good advice. Also, if you're wondering why your Uber driver keeps canceling on you, if you've allowed your girlfriend or boyfriend who's half in the bag to have the cell phone, and they're worried more about getting to Taco Bell and asking the Uber driver to drop them off, and they're like, "That's why." Because don't harass your Uber driver. So now you know why your trip got canceled.
And I always encourage, if I'm picking someone up from the bar or a house party or whatever, and we're going, I'm always encouraged to stop at McDonald's, to stop at Taco Bell.
Dude, I'll buy you something. You want something? I'll get that for you.
Bingo.
Dude, I'll buy you fly.
They get so excited too. It's so funny because I don't know whoever told them no, but it's like, they're like, do you think we could stop at Taco Bell? I'm like, hell yeah, we can. They're like, what? They get so excited.
You're like everybody's favorite uncle.
Don't tell your mom we stopped here.
Don't tell your mom I gave you a pack of smokes.
I took one guy to Taco Bell once. He was drunk, and
surprise.
Yeah, he was like, ordering and telling the people that he's allergic to tomatoes. Apparently, he's like not deathly allergic, but severely allergic to tomatoes. Okay. And apparently, they had put tomatoes on his tacos because when he got out and I checked my car in the back seat, there was a pile of diced tomatoes.
So like, have you ever found anything like just off the wall in the back, like where you're like, what's going on here?
No, I found like wallets, phones. Actually, kind of like goes along with looking in the back seat and being like, what's that? And goes along with finding a purse and a phone. I had a pickup in Saratoga one night. This is when the bars were fully open. This was like 2:00 in the morning. And this is my first experience, and it happened many times after this, of someone getting into an Uber and it's not their Uber.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So I started the trip and we're driving, and I get about 5 minutes down the road and I get a phone call. It always comes up as a 315 area code for Uber, because they mask personal numbers. And the guy's like, where are you going? It was a guy and the girl in the back. And I'm like,
To your
I guess
house?
coming back to pick you up. And I didn't know it was winter, and I didn't want to be a dick and be like, get out of the car, because I'm like, I'll just drop you guys back off Caroline Street. But I was kind of pissed. And on the way back, you could hear noises that you used to hear, like, in the upper channels when it was all scrambled. So I'm like, these guys are not on a 5-minute trip back in a wrong Uber trying to have sex in the back seat of my car, which they were.
We did have a cab confessional. Well, it's easy cleanup.
So I drop them off, and I found in the phone and her purse.
Oh, that's so great.
So I was.
At least it was Caroline Street. I mean, did they get you a doughboy while you were out there? Isn't that what it is? It's a doughboy at the end of Caroline Street.
They sell those at Stewart's now, like the Stewart's Inn on Broadway in Saratoga. They sell doughboys.
Monica, have you ever had a doughboy?
Oh,
I don't know what a doughboy is.
Rick, tell her what a doughboy is.
It's like this. It's got inside of it? It's like the sauce and the chicken. And just like this, it's just, I don't know.
So if you
it's like those Chinese rolls, like the pork buns at the Chinese restaurant.
Kind of, but imagine bigger and like imagine a Stromboli ball with chicken in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So good. So good.
Yeah, like the only place I knew of them, I didn't know Stewart's had, is at the end of Caroline Street. There's this one pizzeria that I know of that has like the best ones. And a guy who used to serve with me, we used to go to City Tavern at the end of Caroline's, and he would be like, you got to go up there. And we would go up there and we would get them. It was phenomenal. Yeah. So now I'm going to kind of shift over here to Monica for a minute, because she is our travel expert. And you can keep this to whatever level of movie you need it to be, Monica. And what I mean, we can have G, PG, the rating. Remember, we're not covered by the FCC, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
And I'm trying to phrase this, because for those of you that see, I spoke to Miss Monica before this show started, and she's probably one of the nicest people I've ever spoke to. And I let her come on with Rick. So I apologize, man. And
welcome.
I'm trying so hard, but so what's one of the trips like where you were like, have you ever had somebody say, hey, I want to set up an adult excursion? We'll go with that. Adult excursion. I like that. Where you were like, I'm not, no. Or were you like, okay, I'll make this happen. Have you ever had something like that?
I think that we used to have some things like that happen, and we would tell them no. I specialize in boys' trips, though, adventure trips, and I try to make them as exciting and adrenaline filled as possible, but they're still rated
PG-13.
PG-13, yeah. But I try to make them very like adrenaline filled, and what kind of trouble they get into on their own is their own, their own business. And but yeah, I've done that. And I really enjoy doing those men's trips because they just love to push the envelope, and I have to get really creative and to get things that they've never done before. So So yeah, but naughty, no, I don't do naughty.
I hadn't like I was so curious, like because in my mind I'm like, huh, shit, like travel agent, like I mean, I wonder, like you gotta want like, well, do you? I had to wonder. You know, I was out there. That was one that I was curious of. Was did you ever run into situation where somebody was like, hmm? Now, have you ever, Rick? Have you ever gotten into had an Uber passenger that you were like, oh shit, it's you?
No,
Because I got
I
I got to
not
read you this.
really. I'm like all of my like I haven't really had. I've had like maybe one or two riders that really stood out as being just complete dicks. Um, Everyone that I've ever Ubered, they either don't talk or they're very talkative, and it's usually they don't like 25% maybe. That's kind of highballing it too. Don't want to talk, and I'll talk your ear off. I love talking to people. So.
Oh, look, that's just what. If you didn't know Miss Monica, like, and I hope you understand, like the Miss Monica. I just because I love your name is Monica, and I think Miss Monica just sounds so great. Um, if you don't like it, tell me. Just Monica, stop.
It's good. It's good. It's fun.
Because I think it sounds great, but I lost my train of thought. Fuck it. Back to the Buffalo Trace for a moment here. But I had to read this one. So this one is great. One time I got into my Uber pool and my ex was in the back seat. And then somebody responded, the fact that the stars fucking aligned and gave me my ex as the Uber driver, no damn reason. Like I couldn't even like what do you do in that where all of a sudden you're like I don't know what I would do. Like first off, I'd never Uber pool. Like I don't even
That's like taking a cab.
right. Like yeah, like just go get in a stupid cab at that point. Like the Uber pool thing doesn't register to me. Like I'm like, why would you even waste your time? Get a cab if you're going to do that. And
Yeah.
like Uber's cheap as it is. Like what kind of a cheap bastard are you that like, I can't take this $6 ride. I'm going to need somebody else with me. Let's go ahead and cut this to 3.
Hopefully my ex will be in the back.
Right. Oh God, I couldn't imagine. Oh, I couldn't even begin to imagine what it would be like if all of a sudden I jumped into an Uber and like one of my exes was driving. Like I think they would probably like I feel like they would sideswipe into like a phone pole or something just to do me wrong.
Lock the doors lock.
Right. Like
oh, that's funny.
Remember when you used to have control of the remote all the time?
Yeah.
and shit
You put the child lock on the back.
Right. That would be my luck. Do you ever lock the child? Oh, Rick, please. Next time you're driving Uber tomorrow, please lock the child lock on somebody.
I had someone ask me once if I was a serial killer.
What?
No.
Yeah. I said you're not going to find out until it's too late, so just enjoy the ride.
I want to know what you said to them before to make them ask you that.
Just this.
Is your camera, Monica, is your camera broken right now? Like your camera works, right?
Yeah, it works.
Can I make, let me see. I don't know if I can make Rick's face any bigger. I mean, I'm trying to see if there's a way. Here, let's see. Can we make, no, can we make that? No, I can't make this into, Rick is just the centerpiece here, but I'm sorry. I was trying. But yeah.
Hey, I learned in New York City that the people that look the nicest are the meanest. They're the ones that are going to steal your purse or, like one time I was on the subway and these guys get in and they got these big sweatshirts and these big baggy jeans. And, I was like concerned. And then a pregnant woman got on the train and those kids that I was afraid of were the ones that let the pregnant lady sit down. And it was the Wall Street guys reading their newspaper that didn't even flinch. and
Yep.
let the poor pregnant lady stand up, you know? So looks don't mean anything.
See that we call that NHT, no home training, because I'm always amazed by those things. Look, New York City travel. So do you live down there?
I lived there, yeah, twice. Each time for a few years. Once 5 years and once for like 3 years, I think.
Well, I can tell you right now that the pandemic has turned that into zombie land. Like,
Yeah,
I posted a picture on my Instagram recently of 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday in New York City, like walking from our hotel over to the station, and there was no one on the streets. Not a
yeah,
not a soul. Where, a year ago, that same time, it would have everybody would have been doing the walk of shame and everything else.
yeah.
It would have been Rick's done that. He's done the walk of shame a few times. Look at
I
him.
do the walk of shame on the way to their house.
I'm feeling shameful for them.
Like, you don't know what you're getting into. I'm so sorry.
My
Oh.
apologies. My apologies. You thought this laugh was a good thing.
I'd call myself an Uber, then I just drive myself home.
I drive my own disappointment home. Oh,
Disappointment drive.
my own disappointment. Oh, wait a sec. Here's one for you. One time I Ubered from a taco shop to my house, and the other passenger told me I could have walked. That's kind of a dick move. Like, you could have done that shit on your own. Like,
Wow.
I don't get the Uber pool. Like, I just don't. I don't get the Uber pool at all. Like, do you even see that up in Saratoga at all?
We don't have it up here.
Oh, we just don't have it, period?
No.
In Los Angeles, where the rides are long, like my daughter would do it, an Uber pool. I did it once. I hated it. I'll never do it again. It took me twice as long, and I don't have that kind of time. But here in Los Angeles, the Ubers can cost you $30, $35, $70, $80 if you're going from one side of the city to the other. So that's why Uber pool works in big cities like that, I think.
Yeah. So let's see.
But in the times of COVID, I couldn't imagine getting in a pool. Do they even let you do that anymore?
I don't know. Like, I imagine probably with COVID, it's probably not a thing, but
Yeah.
I'm just I'm just scrolling through uh all the different like stories. This one's great. Friend left her purse in an Uber on New Year's Eve. Found some interesting pictures on her phone when she retrieved it the following day. Can we see this? Can you see that? Like, I'm trying to. Maybe I'll.
Swimming pool?
No. So the person took the purse and took like modeling shots with the purse, like with teddy bears. Like, I don't get it.
That's funny.
I mean,
Like,
That's hilarious.
like I don't know. I have friends that I work with on the one that pays the bills that they like that's the thing. Like, when we were kids, it was a skill set to see how drunk I could drive. And I don't mean that like
Yep.
I was going out to do it, but you heard guys go like, "Man, I'm fine. I can drive like this." These kids today, they're like, "No, I just call an Uber." I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't even take my car out." I'm like, "You're so responsible. You're so much better than we were."
He used to drive over lawns like it was nothing. Like,
Right. Like, I had a guy that swear to talk about not we're going to slide from Uber to drunk driving for a moment. It was not me. I've never had a DUI. I'm very against it. Very think it's horrible. All the above. No, big no. But I had a guy that worked for me that put a car on top of a telephone pole like split a telephone pole, I should say, while drunk driving.
Did he live in Hazard County?
Did not live in Hazard County. Was not a Duke boy. But he was probably as big around as Daisy was. But today kids, like, I think Uber and all, they're great. I mean, because they are gypsy cabs. They're paid. I don't care what anyone says, but it's just so funny to me that today, like, you would never hear that. Like, no, I'll just get an Uber. I'll get an Uber, and it seems like everybody, like out of your peer group, not including me, because I don't know. Are we peers, Rick? Let's talk about this. Can we have a socially comfortable moment? Just a moment, just you and I, Rick. We'll just discuss it like this. Just get a little close to the microphone and we'll just talk like it's an ASR for a moment. Oh, wait a sec. You remember? Do you remember what this is, Rick? Do you remember what this is?
No.
That's facetrication.
What is it? Facetrication?
Facetrication. Oh, you didn't listen to that one? You have to go back and listen to facetrication.
No.
So, but like kids today, they never, like, my son, Dad, I get an Uber. If I'm going to go out and see my friends, we know we're going to have a couple beverages. I'm not taking my car. I'll get an Uber. I'll be damned. And that's like, they're way more responsible today than I think we ever were. Like, maybe that's because somebody can always film you. There's always a film. Look at that. What is that? Is that Above the Bar podcast merchandise? Oh my goodness. You too could have Above the Bar podcast merchandise. Shameless plug. But no, like kids today, like, would never. So have you ever kicked anyone out of your car, Rick? I need to know if you.
No, I haven't had to do that yet, but we can do that.
Like, what would it take for those of you that don't know, if you ever want to see Rick, you can find him on Facebook and just wait, and he'll play music for you, and might be at a it's the Loser or something. What's the band?
Oh, the Idiots.
The Idiots, not the Losers. That's a different band.
I have the Idiots and Tin Cup Radicals.
So if you ever want to see Rick play music, he is phenomenal. He's the only man that my wife listens to play music that I don't get uncomfortable about. When Michael Bublé plays, my wife. April. She is watching. I can always rely on, if I have one viewer, it's my wife, because she does sometimes love me. So
from afar via the internet.
Right, from afar via the internet, upstairs while I'm in the basement, she does still love me. I hate you, Rick. I hate you. It's your new hit single right there. Oh. Look, don't start that. What you can't see right now directly. And I don't. Can I? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this.
Do it.
I'm gonna need my glasses again.
I lost my glasses, so I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Oh, he's got some alcohol. And I've lost his voice. We can't hear you.
Come back.
I'm coming back. Baby,
He's
I'm
back.
Another kind of fool for love. I'm wrong. I just can't live without you. I'm sorry, I had a moment there. You're guaranteed to get a moment from me at some point.
Yes.
And I got to get my audio back. That's why I never move my computer. Is I've got mental.
Lost your audio.
See, I have these like ridiculously temperamental cords attached to my computer that I want to replace so badly. I can't even begin to explain to you. I know my audio just went from sounding good to sounding like shit for a moment. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear
We
me?
could hear you.
Yep.
Now, yeah.
Am I here? Am I there?
Yes.
I'm there. I'm here.
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
Whoa.
No, but my cat's passed out on the bar right now. So what would it take for Rick to boot someone out of the cab? Like I'm curious. Like what would it take for Rick to? Because we already know what would take Monica to not book a trip for you. Now I need to know what it would take for Rick to not let you. Like you're done. Get out.
They'd have like, because I get put up with a lot. They'd have to be a real, just blatant fucking dick about something, you know?
Like, give me an example. Like if they asked you to play, "All I Want for Christmas Is You" continually, would you put them out of the cab? I need to know that. Like, would that be enough?
That might be adding insult to injury because if they request that, probably their family doesn't talk to them anymore.
I mean, that's what I was really curious of. Like, if they were like, "I need you to play this continually. All I want for Christmas is you." Like, would that be enough to be like, "You got to go. Fucking out of
No,
here."
I just laugh at them and just turn the rancid up.
What? Now that goes into another. Like, have you ever had any crazy requests, like in the cab, or not like going to get food or something like that, where somebody was like, "Look, don't look at the bag I just put in the trunk of your car. I know it's just a rolled up carpet. Don't worry about it. We're just going to the Saratoga, like over by the gorge. We need to go to the gorge. Don't worry about it." Like, have you ever had anything like that?
I've never. Hang on, I'm an idiot and forgot to charge my phone. I gotta plug it in. I've never had anything like that, but I know a friend of mine who is an Uber driver had a trip to Connecticut from Albany.
Holy shit!
It was made very clear to him not to question what was going on in the bag that they just put in the trunk.
Wait, like
Pretty much don't ask and don't say anything, and I won't kill you.
Oh, please tell me it was like a duffel bag, not like
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It was full of drugs.
Drugs. I think there's drugs in there. Now there's a question for now, Monica. You've all over the world. Like, have you ever had Rick brings up a great point with it? Have you ever we've all seen the stories of locked up abroad where the college girls make the mistake and the guy's like, "All I need you to do is take this bag to the airport for me. Don't worry what's in it. You'll be fine." Have you ever had? My name is Antonio Bandana. He killed my father. Prepared for that.
No, never anything like that. We've had, I have a couple of instances where one client, this is a very sad story. He had a briefcase and he had very expensive, camera equipment in it. And he had, I think he had cash because he was a leader of a group that we were bringing, and he had I think $5,000 in cash in this,
shit,
and some camera equipment in this briefcase. And I don't know how they do it in these third world countries, but somebody, first of all, when you're in the airport in these third world countries, everyone comes to see you off and to see you come back. So when Pablo is flying off, there's his aunts and his uncles and his sisters and his brother and his mom and his dad. So the airport gets really, really busy. So this guy puts the briefcase down and somebody replaced his briefcase with one that looked just like it. I don't know how they did it.
Wow.
And so he walks off with an empty briefcase, and somebody walks off with all his camera equipment and cash. So that was devastating. We've had people, somebody got their backpacks stolen at a big festival. When I went to the same festival, my guide took my bag and put it on my front, but this guy didn't hire our guide. So he was all alone and he got his backpack stolen. But most of the time, because they're so protected with drivers and guides, good drivers, they don't get into too much trouble.
Yes, I was waiting. Monica, I'm going to go ahead and endorse her now, and I've never taken a trip with Monica. These sound like the most safe, peaceful trips. You'll enjoy yourself. It'll be serene if you listen to her guidance. Don't ask Rick or me to book you a trip. No, this is bad. It's a bad plan. It's not going to work out for anyone. Um, like, this might be another career choice for you, Rick. Tour guide.
Oh, wait, I have to tell you this story about us going to the airport in a taxi. I just remembered. It'll give you a different view. So we were going in Greece. We were in Crete. And remember when they were lots of taxi strikes and riots in Greece?
Yep.
I think their economy was collapsing or something.
That was
so
Tuesday.
we were going to the airport. It was my husband and I and my 2 kids. They were about, I'm going to guess, 10 and 12. And suddenly the outside, can you imagine when you're driving into an airport, there's a big ramp. It takes about a mile to get from that ramp up to where the gates are.
Right.
There's a roadblock. And they're like, no taxis can go in here. No cars can go in here. And there were all these taxi drivers out, and they had tear gas, and we had to get to check in. So we had to take our bags, and we don't carry travel lights. We had like 8 bags. So we had to take all these bags. Each of us had like 2 bags in our hands. Luckily, there were roller bags. And we're running up the ramp through tear gas, me and my children, 10 and 12, and my husband and me, running up. And the kids were great because they react really quickly, I guess because of all the video games they play. And now my son is a Marine because he's really good at this. So they reacted really quickly. They've got their shirts over their faces and they're running. Me, I like my whatever I was hiding my face with fell down. I got tear gas on my face. My eyes were watering. The taxi drivers that were the problem makers were actually coming over and giving me water and cleaning out my eyes. And the kids are screaming, "Mom, Mom!" So it's not always peaceful, but
I want that trip.
Yeah, see, that's the trip. See, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking for, like, you watch these shows and they're like vacation nightmares, and you're like, what the hell vacation were you on where a shark ate all your children and your legs felt like you got leprosy on vacation? How did this happen? Now hold on, Monica. You just let my son's a Marine just kind of slide right past me? How did you? I told you I did that for 20 years. How did you let that slide right past me?
I thought I told you before.
No.
He I don't know what got into his head.
A recruiter. That's what I did.
No. Oh, okay. I don't mean to be mean, but like
look,
they used to put those signs, "Be a Marine," up at the lacrosse field.
Oh, and he played lacrosse too? Come on.
Oh my God.
My kids played lacrosse.
He was a ski racer. He played lacrosse, but he just loved the Marines. I couldn't get it out of his head. I tried everything, and I even said, like, you're not allowed to go and enlist. You have to go to college. So we got him into Norwich. He got a grant and everything.
That's a great
because he did their camp and he did really well. So they gave him money to go to Norwich, and he just he just wanted to be a Marine. So he quit after 6 months. He said, if I'm going to be tortured as a rook, I'm going to do it in the Marines. So he went to Afghanistan, and they really love him there. He's real strong.
Oh, well, this one's for him.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Where's he stationed at now?
So he's in North Carolina.
The land of milk and honey.
So were you a Marine?
Monica, I was a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. I spent 20 years. I'm wondering if one of my real close friends, he might be still listening. I can't tell because he hasn't messaged me. Bill, he was a Marine. You probably had about at least another 5 to 10 Marines at some point in time watching this because of all my friends. But yeah, I did it for 20 years. And I was the guy that you didn't want to come to your house to talk to your baby.
That was you?
That was me. Let me tell you how what mom and dad told you for 18 years is a bunch of BS. I got 2 hours to change your mind.
Well, he had a really easy job with my son. My son's name is Pablo. Yeah, and he's a gunner, I think, a gunner.
So he's in the infantry?
Yeah, that's where he wanted to go.
Well, see, I used to tell this story to people all the time. And it's funny because I was just talking with somebody the other day who was a recruiter for the Navy or the Air Force or something. And I used to tell people, they were like, oh, the Army's like a big competition for you recruiting. I said, no, not at all. Most kids that walk in my office, if you've walked in my office, you want nothing to do with the Army. You want nothing to do with the Navy. You want to be either a Marine or you want to join the Air Force. Because in your mindset, either I'm going to join the Air Force and they're going to teach me how to be an astronaut and like I'm going to lay hands on machines and I'm going to make $1 million. And there's this crazy notion that they make more than any of the other branches of service. Public service announcement, folks. All branches of service make the exact same amount of money. Nobody would join any other branch of service if one made more than the other. But people believe this stuff. Or you wanted to join the Marine Corps because you thought I was going to teach you how to kill people with your thumb. That was like, I'm like, this was the whole entire thing was you had to be at one extreme or the other. Like, I'm going to be a super genius or I'm going to learn how to murder people with my thumb. That's my choices. That's why.
I hope he doesn't listen to this, but I think that,
we
didn't have guns in our house and he just really wanted to, I don't know. He loves those guns, he loves everything about them. And I should have taken him out hunting when he was 12 or something,
Look, I will. I don't mean to get on to a recruiting spiel, but I will give you the best thing I used to tell parents all the time, Monica, and this will make you sleep easy at night. He's not in college, running around, drinking, being unsupervised, doing things he's not supposed to. He's going to get a check on the 1st and the 15th. He has medical coverage, and he has adult supervision at all times. And if he screws up, trust me, somebody will ground him. How much better does it get?
I think he has more money than I do right now.
I mean, as a parent, I couldn't ask for more. I don't want my kids to go to college. I don't want you to have $140,000 in debt with a $20 an hour job. I mean, give me a break. Look at Rick.
This could also be your future, kids.
Look, that's this.
Oh no!
Oh shit! Shit! She said, "Oh no."
No, trust me, I say, "Oh no" every day. I love it. Again.
Oh God, again. But so it's it's interesting. Like all the differences. Like I don't like. Now, if I wanted to just like specifically ask for you, Rick, could I ask for you as my Uber driver? Is that like a thing?
No, you can't. You can't ask for specific drivers. It's whoever's closest and available to the ping will get the ride.
But I can ask for Monica specifically to get me a trip somewhere, can I?
Yes, you can.
And how am I going to do that, Monica? Tell me again how I can get Monica to make sure that I have an adrenaline-filled trip full of vigor that is still PG-13.
All you have to do is go to my website, yampu.com.
Spell it.
And it's YAM like Mary, P like Pablo, U like umbrella, yampu.com.
What is a yampu?
Yampu is a raft. There was a book by Thor Heyerdahl about a raft that went from Easter Island to Peru. And they were trying to prove that those two cultures are related. And the book was called Kontiki, and our original name of our company was Kontiki. But there were a lot of Kontikis around, and people were getting confused. So we wanted to kind of stay with the same theme. So Yampu is the Quechua name for that raft. And Quechua is a group of people that live in the Andes of Peru and Bolivia.
Oh, you said, now have you been to the Andes?
Yes, I've been to the Andes in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia. All those Andes I've been to.
Now, I think personally, Andes has got to be the scariest place. Like I don't want to go there, but I blame that. No, because I blame it completely on another podcast that I like that I used to listen to called the Serial Killer Podcast.
There was an Andes serial killer?
The most what? Monica, if you're gonna set a trip for me, I need you to know these things. I need you to know where this shit is.
I've never heard of that.
The what was it? It was either the Beast of the Andes or the Monster of the Andes, the most prolific serial killer in planetary history. What?
I'm going to Google that when we hang up.
And he's still alive. They don't know.
Really? What? Which country?
So I'm going to try to remember the story. If one of my coworkers was around, she would remember it better. So basically, I think he started off in Colombia. And what's north of Colombia?
Well, Colombia, north of Colombia is Panama.
So then maybe he ended up in Colombia, but he was over in that section over there where they meet. And like, I'm not going to get into it because you have to listen to the Serial Killer podcast. I will promote him. He sounds like Count Dracula when he talks. Eobard Thune from Scandinavia. Oh, look, Rick, like this dude's voice is straight up Count Dracula.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it about these Scandinavian people? There's a Scandinavian writer that wrote a book that's so twisted.
You got 6 months of darkness. What the hell else you going to do?
Snake tattoo.
Like it's dark for 6 months. I would be a miserable bastard too. They have lamps there that like just put off UV light so that you can like feel better. But yeah, so this Beast of the Andes, like I think they said like it was either 399 or 600 people somewhere in there that he killed, and like not like not like one of these ones where he was like, yeah, I think no, like he's taking them to bodies because he was up in the Andes killing young girls in the Andes mountains, and finally the tribes caught him, and it was always like the same situation. Like somebody would catch him, they were getting ready to kill him, and then an American missionary or something would show up and be like, no, let's show you how justice works. No, that's not how this works. And they would put him off in jail, but something to do with whatever was the final country that caught him. Their laws say that you can only be in jail for 16 years for murder. No matter how many murders, it's 16 years. That's their rule. And
is he still in jail?
No. So he was in jail, and they let him out, and they thought, well, here it is, Monster of the Andes. And they let him out. Daniel Barbosa, a mass murderer, also known as the Beast of the Andes, and Pedro Lopez, a reputed mass murderer. The one I'm thinking of is Pedro Lopez. Let me just give you this real quick. Pedro Lopez, born 8 October, is a South American serial killer who was sentenced for killing 110 girls, but who claimed to have raped and killed more than 300 across Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. Aside from something accounts, Lopez's crimes first received international attention from an interview conducted by Ron Latiner, a longtime freelance photojournalist who reported interviewing Lopez in Embuto prison cell in 1980. How do you not know this, Monica? You're taking people into the Andes Mountains and not knowing this.
Monica's like, I gotta make a phone call. Hang on.
Please tell me you don't have somebody down there right now. But no, like seriously, like, and when they finally released him, because of the way their laws were, they didn't have a death penalty, and they thought when they moved him to Colombia that they had taken care of it, but they ended up realizing that he just walked back into the Andes Mountains. They don't know if a tribe got him. They don't know if a local drug lord or crime family just dealt with it because of how horrific it was. They don't know anything. He just disappeared off the face of the earth.
So I think that my travelers are going to be okay. I think that sadly there's all these Inca trails around the Andes, and they go to these small communities, and they don't have their own police there. They're very remote. And do you remember there was about 10 years ago, there was some kids that decided they were driving across South America, and they probably had what I could imagine looked like a camper. And they pulled over in some remote village and set up a tent in their like field. and the villagers came out and really probably shouldn't be telling you this story.
Tell me this. This is the stories I need, Monica.
So the villagers came out and they were very aggressive with them. They took their passport. And I remember Matt Lauer was a thing still back then. And he was interviewing and I was so upset because, yes, the villagers, they don't have police. They did. They threw rocks at them because if you look at it from their perspective, you can't go over to the Microsoft, Matt Lauer's house in the Hamptons and put down a tent on his yard. You'd have some security officers kicking you out too, So yeah, they came down and they had rocks and they took their passports and they were really angry because to them, somebody with a tent and a camper, this is gypsy kind of behavior, It's only in America where that's a luxury, but they're remote villages and they have to police themselves, because they can't just call the sheriff's department and have somebody there in 2 minutes, So I remember I was on the side of the villagers because I was just kind of like, how arrogant of them to just set up a tent in somebody's village,
Matt Lauer would just lock the door with a button. He has a button to lock everything.
I was going to say, so we shouldn't be camping on Matt Lauer's lawn.
Don't camp on Matt Lauer's lawn and don't go to some Indian village and put down your tent, But yeah, if you're Pedro Lopez, I don't know.
I just ruined the entire Andes for you, Monica. I'm so sorry for that.
No, you can't ruin the Andes for me. I've never heard that story, and I'm sure there's lots of sad stories that I don't hear. I don't want to be like Debbie Downer, but like I try to help the people in the Andes. I bring them things and try to get to know them, and send my clients to buy stuff from them, and I have a really good relationship with the people of the Andes, and it's a special place for me.
Well, we're gonna get ready to tie this up. I do have to say, I really thought my best friend's husband was gonna send one of his Uber stories in because Jeff's the guy who, like, on the other side of all this Uber conversation, as I wrap all this up, like, Uber drivers show up and he looks at their cars and goes, "Goodbye." I'm not getting in that. Like, he's the other side of it. Like, no. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm not getting in that. Like, he has standards. I don't blame him. Like,
if you're going to pay for it, might as well.
Well, he's told me some of the stuff that showed up, and I'm like, yeah, no, man, I'm with you. But he's the guy who goes, no, that's got to go. Like, he knows, like, the standards, like, hey, Uber's supposed to be this kind of car from this, or like from this year on, this, like, all that stuff. He's like, no, you go, goodbye.
I know a couple of guys who are doing Uber Eats, and they pay you more if you use your bicycle for Uber Eats. But they were doing Uber Eats saying they were on their bikes and they were doing it from their cars. Real slow.
It's so
funny. Was like, how are you doing 45 on your bicycle?
I would be so mad. No, hold on. Like, on the other side of that, if I'm the guy ordering food and it pops up on my Uber Eats that this kid's on a 10 speed to bring me my food that's supposed to be hot, I'm gonna be fired up. I'm gonna be like, no. Like, you need to go get a car or a bus pass or something, kid. Like,
yeah,
this is not acceptable.
Yeah, Uber makes these huge backpacks too for to put the food in. They're huge. They're like this big,
like an oven for your back.
Yeah, they got a little slot in the back for pizza boxes.
Please tell me you do this, Rick. Please tell me.
Not yet.
Rick,
it is in my cart, though. I have it in my cart.
I have a bike that I don't use. I will give you this fucking bike. I will give you this fucking bike to watch you deliver Uber Eats around Saratoga. Like I'm saying, I'm recording this whole thing of you, like, throwing sandwiches at people's doors and shit like that, like the old video game Paperboy. Like, I need this. Like, the chain's rusty on the bike, everything.
Throwing burritos over my shoulder.
Rick, if you haven't figured it out, Monica, Rick is my Steve-O. Like there's a plan. He's my Steve-O. Like, this is what we're gonna do. Got it. I'll do it. I don't care.
Oh, that's funny.
So all right, Miss Monica, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna get this all together. If you look across the bottom of the screen, you should have seen it a few times, folks. We put some of the contact information. We have Monica's Instagram. We're gonna have to find each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
We have her Instagram. We have her Twitter. We have her LinkedIn. We have her company page. If you're looking for a vacation, looking to set up a vacation, I know Rick and I can be a couple of jackasses 9 out of 10 times, but reach out to her, contact her. It'll be a great time. She'll set you up a trip. I will be honest. I stalked through all your pictures. I saw some amazing pictures. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the group shots that you took. We're not talking like onesie twosies. We're talking 7, 10 people at a time, getting out on these trips, having a good time. You could tell these weren't like staged photos. And where she mentions the guides, they were in the pictures that I was looking at. It was all there. I saw that you set up like the spiritual trips. If somebody was looking to like more of a spiritual kind of walkabout kind of journey thing or whatever you want to call it, like you were setting.
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw all that on there. So folks, please take a look for Monica, see what she's got there. Miss Monica, what do you want to tell the folks? Like anything else you want to give them?
Yeah, I would just love to hear from you. Every trip I do is different. They're all for you. Whatever you want. Rated PG-13 or less, and we'll do. But that doesn't mean they're not fun. They're going to be fun. Lots of adrenaline. Spiritual, nature, birds, animals, elephants, whatever you want. I'd love to make it happen for you. Lions and tigers, oh my, yes.
And Richard Cranium.
Yes.
Tao.
The old name.
Throw that out there, Tal. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story, Monica. I can't get into right now. What would you like the folks to know? What words of wisdom and guidance do you have for the folks today?
If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, watch The Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Writing that down.
What? Wait, what? I mean, I mean, that's a whole episode in and of itself. Just explaining. Do you have Disney Plus, Monica?
No.
Monica, I don't care if you have to pirate the show. You need to go watch that.
Okay.
I'm concerned right now.
You got to plan yourself a trip to Skywalker Ranch.
Oh, yeah. No, you know where I want to go? Now, look, I want to go to the new Star Wars in Disney. Have you seen the pictures of that?
Galaxy's Edge.
Dude, that looks badass.
If you're going, I'm going with you.
Yeah, but we got the RV. Look, you're probably one of the few people that April would be like, sure, as long as he brings his guitar. April, are you listening? Let's see. I got one viewer. I don't know if my wife's listening.
It's always right there.
See that? It's right there. Yes, the Mandalorian. You have we need to do it. I wonder if I can get my buddy Tom to come on and we could do in Mandalorian because there was. Oh, see, you got me fucking how to say Mandalorian, son of a bitch. There's so much. There's so much that I could go into because there's a grenade. It is. It really is. It's like a social grenade that you roll into a room, and there was so much. I'll just say this: I never knew Boba Fett wasn't a Mandalorian. That to me was what? That makes no sense. Does any of this mean anything to you, Monica? I need to know that.
No, you're speaking Chinese to me.
April, would you be willing to come around? No, Rick. She said no, but Rick wanted to know if he could go. Well, I don't mind if you don't. We got to do the heart. This is so sidebar conversation of why my wife won't come in, but Rick wants to know if we go to Disney, will we take him?
Oh my God, I'd love to.
Could you hear that?
I would love to.
She said she would love to.
Wait, does he have to go in a double stroller with you guys?
Do you need to be in a double stroller with the 3-year-old? That's what we need to know.
Do I need to be or do I want to be?
He said need or want.
He's a walker, right?
You are a walker, like you are capable of walking. She needs to know these things. These
Capable, yes.
I'll bring the stroller, the double stroller.
are. Hold on. Say it again, Rick.
do I do I need to or do I want to walk?
See, she won't come. She won't come in the camera. She's in her PJs already, so she's not really going to come in the camera here. But oh god, that would be an adventure. God.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh, see, this is what happens in most of my shows, Monica, is I'm ready to end it and someone rolls a social grenade into the room. I'm on to something completely else. People come back around like, what is this guy still doing listening here? But so yes, go watch The Mandalorian. We'll be waiting for your report. You can send us a message. We'll wait for your report on the Above the Bar podcast Facebook page. Or you can tag us in. We'll find each other on Instagram.
Okay.
And then we'll get Monica's take. Now, the perfect because you're not a Star Wars person, it seems like, because you didn't know what Mandalorian was. So we can get you on there and talking about like what was your take as someone who knows nothing about it. I love it.
I watched all the Star Wars, but I just don't remember. I guess I was younger.
Well, you're only 21. How much younger could you have been? I mean, come on now.
So there's a whole movie called Mandalorian.
A whole TV series. It's 2 seasons.
Oh,
Yep.
It's a season. Oh, okay. I've been too busy watching Cobra Kai, so.
I can't fault you there. I haven't got into Cobra Kai. I've watched the first 2 seasons of that, but I'm on Sabrina right now, so I have to finish Sabrina.
Okay.
And they just had like the greatest tie-in the other day with the original TV series.
Oh, yeah?
Where like one of the Sabrinas goes to another alternate world and the 2 women who played the aunts in the original series on TV showed up. And it was
nice.
like, oh, this is so great. Like, it was like, oh, it's perfect. Like, I didn't even see it coming. So, folks,
nods like that are the best. They're so. I
love stuff like that. So, folks, if you want to follow us on Instagram, please do. Please come find us on Instagram at Above the Bar Podcast. We also have our Twitter, which is at the Above 4. You can see it scrolling right along. I fixed all that. The email, if you want to email us any questions, if you're looking for ways, if for some reason you didn't pay attention to the spelling of Yampu, which is YAMPU. You didn't pay attention to that. Look, I even spelled it one more time for you. You want me to send that to you, please let me know. You can email me at the Above the Bar Podcast. Also, we got our merch line. I'm going to bring this up again. Sooner or later, somebody other than me will buy my shirts. Somebody other than me will buy my shirts. We have our merch line at TeePublic. Just look up the Above the Bar Podcast on TeePublic. Whoever buys a shirt or some form of merchandise, take some pictures with you out in public and tag it with the hashtag the Above the Bar Podcast. The best picture at the end of the month, I will turn around and I will buy you some free merchandise. I told you I'm the only one buying the shit. I will buy you free merchandise. And we have our new shirt, which is the Barstool shirt. Tilted bar stool. If any of us that have spent any more than 5 minutes in a bar know you tip your bar stool against the bar so nobody sits in your chair. So we have the tilted bar stool that was put together by one of my longest friends, Pat Quinn. He put that all together, and it's got the slogan on the back of it. Be sure to push your stool in. So make sure you see. You can't not laugh, Rick. If you look at the shirt, I made sure the youngest daughter, who's 22, it was her idea to make sure the writing, be sure to push your stool in, is as low on the back of the shirt as you possibly can get. So it's perfect. It's
awesome.
Perfect. All right. Last word, Monica.
Last word.
Last
Bye.
word. All righty, folks. Rick, I'll see you soon, brother.
Absolutely, my man. Monica, it's good to meet you.
All
Nice
righty,
to meet you too, both of you.
be sure to push your stool in.
All right.